All right, welcome to the Do You Know Who I Am podcast. I am your host, Jay Legend, aka Jamal Douse. And today I got the lovely Miriam. Introduce yourself. I said your name first, but go ahead, introduce yourself.
Yes, so my name is Miriam Johannes. I reside in Los Angeles, California. I have been pursuing acting, dancing, choreography, and modeling for the last full time, last 2 to 3 years, but I've had like a passion for it ever since I was 6 years old. I have done anything from musical theater. I've done dance competitions, both regional and national. I've was a part of two dance crews in college. I did anything and everything to get myself just surrounded, just involved in the entertainment industry. And I've never looked back, and I'm really proud of the decision that I made. Depending on where the strike goes, I don't know, because right now my job is literally in jeopardy right now. It is what it is. But I feel good. I feel great. I have, really been making a lot of changes in my life, and I feel good. So yeah.
How do you feel about the strike? Like honestly, like what's your takes on it as an actress living in California? Like how do you feel about the whole thing going on?
It's necessary.
Mhm.
It's tough, and I get it, because a lot of us do need work, and because we're already struggling with our wages, the fact that we have no work at all is, like what's going to happen. And the fact that they're pretty much on the brink of, replacing us with AI. It's like we don't really know what's going to happen
Mhm.
come 2024. Um, but a lot of us are staying hopeful. And we're hoping that, things will finally turn around. It's going to be a long road, and it's going to be a long fight. The writers have been on strike now for, I think, going on almost 4 months.
Months.
And we are going into, and SAG for actors and performers, they're going into their third week. So we're really pushing for it. I mean, there is one studio that has already, you know, approved all of the SAG terms and has gone, abided by all the new rules. So we like that. But we're pushing for like the bigger companies, the big struck companies like Disney, Warner, Universal, Paramount, all those. And I'm I'm not surprised that the CEO is stingy. It's just it is what it is. This is pretty much what we needed people to see, so that they can expose themselves to see like this is really what's going on and what we have been dealing with for so long. And hopefully people kind of start having a little bit more sympathy for entertainers. But you know it's a really controversial and really sensitive conversation to have with people, because people think that either we're really rich, or and we're not rich. Like a lot of us are struggling, like there's like over 85% of people that can't even meet the terms of SAG to get health insurance. So that's a whole problem. I don't know. I hope something will turn around soon. I hope we don't have to wait until the end of the year. But
And to touch on your point with what you said about, you know, a lot of the actors struggling. There was this guy, I don't know if you watched Abbott Elementary, but
yeah.
the janitor, he showed his check from a show. He blocked out the show that he was going to check. And he showed his residuals. He was getting 3 cents. 3 cents. What's the point of even mailing the check for 3 cents? I was
That's what
shocked.
people were saying.
It's a primetime show, he said, that still airs all the time, and he's getting 3 cents from it. And that's just crazy to me that so someone who's on TV, primetime television, he
And
said
he's
he's
a series regular. He's a series regular. Let's point that out too. It's not like he's like a guest star. It's
like,
not like he's a co-star. He is a series regular, and he is not the only person. There's
yeah,
people from Orange is the New Black, Insecure, Dear White People, even Gilmore Girls, like the big like show that we used to watch when we were young, like when we were younger on ABC Family. Like that dude is not even getting any residuals at all, and I'm like, this is not okay, like at all. Not at all. And I used to always wonder, I'm like, why is it that Hollywood keeps reusing the same faces, um and not like trying to, and just reusing, just bringing in new people.
yeah,
And now I know why, because I'm like, these people are living paycheck to paycheck too. I had no idea.
Me
So
neither. It was it's shocking to me because when you see shows all the time and it's on prime time television and you see the star power that these lead roles have, you would think that they're comfortable enough. Not even like the lead roles, I would say, just like an actor or actress, period, on television or movies. You would think that it would just be different for them as well, but it's not. You know what I mean? And I think it's with the AI stuff. You know, it's a little tricky because for better and for worse, it has helped and harmed a lot of jobs, the job market. I would say, like not to go too much off task, but literally, you could build a resume in 2 seconds with AI. You could build. I'm a creative, for example. So with Photoshop, right? Normally, when you want to do a graphic design for Photoshop, that might take you 4 hours, an hour. Now you could just type in a specific detail of what you want, and it does it within like 1 minute, 5 minutes. And it's scary. Like I think I have one on my phone. I don't know if we have time, but like I typed in something real specific for the podcast. Hold on now. Wait a minute. I'm gonna get it together. Hold on. There we go. There we go. There we go. See, I don't know if you see it. I typed this specifically, and look how this was done in 2 minutes.
oh my.
That was done in 2 minutes. The power of AI. That was literally this was done in 2 minutes. Like all of this was done in 2 minutes.
But
And
the one thing kind of throws me off about this whole thing with AI and technology, how is it that we're working more hours? Isn't technology supposed to make things easier?
yeah,
I'm confused. It's
yeah.
not, it's not mathing. The math ain't math in here.
It's mathing for them.
It's mathing for them.
Like
Exactly.
for us, no, it's definitely something that they're doing to just keep us, a mental box or whatever box you want to put it. But
Yeah.
it's I think it's just a crazy. It's really crazy because it's going to start from there, and then people are losing their jobs. Like for example, cashiers are losing their jobs through the AI. They just testing out robot dogs for cop dogs in certain states already. So pretty soon we're gonna live in. Look at what Elon Musk is doing with. He's another story though.
That's
But it's. I think it's just crazy, and I really do hope like it's a solution.
I just never thought it would happen in our lifetime. Like I really thought we had at least a couple extra generations to go.
Yeah.
But I think I mean, you know me, I'm kind of a conspiracy nerd, but
Mhm.
I feel like they're speeding up the timeline for a reason. And I don't know. This just does not look like it's going to end well. I don't think so.
Me neither. I think shit. They just declared 2 days ago. They said it's not no longer global warming now. It's called global boiling.
I know. I saw that. I was like, wait, what?
So I'm like, you telling me you only got 4 more summers to enjoy with four
Somebody said 10. Someone said 10.
the way I was burning up 3 days in a row, I don't know if we're gonna make it to 10 summers, but it's
Your
just
camera went out, by the way.
huh? Oh no, what just happened?
Yeah.
I
There you
will
go.
get it together. But yeah, so I don't know. I was burning up, burning up. Earth is feeling like Mars, and then we got aliens. All of a sudden, they just casually mention the aliens. All of a sudden, it's chilling.
Nobody's face.
How the
Nobody
aliens?
sees. Nobody cares.
We used to talk about UFOs for years. Now we found UFOs and aliens, and now
They've
nobody.
been found it. If it's real, I don't know if it's real. I used to at one point think of it as real, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure those are just demons that y'all are talking about. But that's fine.
You would
That's okay.
really the demon stuff. Like,
The resemblance is uncanny.
but we don't know how an alien looks though.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
But I mean, we could be aliens before. I'm not. Well, I
I
don't.
thought that too.
Like what if we are living in a simulation? I don't know. Speaking of conspiracies, you had a little mishap on TikTok. You wanna talk about that? I wouldn't say a mishap, but it was.
A mishap per se. It's just a video that went viral about a film that that I watched, and it was talking about human trafficking. And I really thought that, it's something that people really do need to just keep your eyes and ears open for it. Like, I don't understand why this is such a controversy because this is not far fetched. We know this stuff is happening, but we need to continue to keep talking about it because for two reasons. One, so that we can be alert when it happens, but two, to prevent it. When you have younger kids in your life, or if you work at a daycare, or if you're, babysitting, or if you have nieces and nephews, you have kids of your own, you're a godparent, those things you want to be aware of. And I wonder to myself, like, these people are right underneath our noses, and yet we see what the government, even in my state, in California, they are trying to remove it as a serious felony, human trafficking. They blocked a bill to not make it a serious felony. You don't think that the timing is weird? No, because of course they're like, we can't be stupid about this. Please move your ego and pride aside. I don't care if you're upset. It got the attention that it did because it needed to. People need to talk about this. People need to be aware of these things. It's not a bad thing to talk about. If we ignore it, I'm sorry, but if we ignore something like this, I don't think I'd be able to sleep at night.
Me neither.
I just don't. Like this, like, you don't understand how lucky you are to not go through the horrors they go through. You don't understand. And if you want to come at me for it, baby, go right ahead, because my mouth is lethal. I'll come for you. But this is a conversation that everybody needs to be a part of. Everyone needs to participate in. And how common it is, disturbing. It's very disturbing. And people are upset.
I mean,
as they have a right to be.
Yeah, I was so shocked to see, like, because like TikTok, you see your friends post first and things like that. So when I saw it, it had like maybe 10 comments, 12 comments, and then I was texting you and you was like, "You're blown up on TikTok right now." I'm like, "Huh? What?" And then I was like, "Oh snap! This got 200, 300 likes." 300 comments. I'm like, "What's going on here?" And then every time I kept refreshing, you was gaining like 40 new followers. I was like, "Okay, this is." What was the name of the movie? I don't think you mentioned it.
Sound of Freedom.
Sound of Freedom.
And there's a lot of other films that talk about human trafficking. This is just one that ended up coming out when it did. There's a lot of controversy surrounding it. And, I'm not an advocate for it. I'm just an advocate for the issue itself, right? I'm an advocate for something as sensitive as human trafficking, because that's something that needs to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
This country is acting as if, like, oh, it doesn't happen. It happens maybe once or twice. If it's even 2 kids or 2 million kids, I don't care. I don't care. It needs to be discussed. And this country is the #1 consumer for CP. So, hello? Let's talk. What's really the problem here? That you don't want to be caught? Is that what that is? Because if that's the case, then we're gonna have a real problem. But you know what I mean? Like, this is a conversation that needs to be addressed. And it ended up reaching 420,000 views. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I mean, it was funny because there was another follow-up video that I made about it. I made like 2 follow-up videos. One of them, they got taken down because somebody was sensitive. But they didn't take down the big one. So they won the battle. I won the war, which is fine.
Right. It was a lot.
Yeah.
More
it hit a lot of buttons for people, and at least you're talking about it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It might inspire somebody to want to go into the field and help, donate, be a lot more alert about it. I don't know how people are going to take something like this, but that's on them. The information is out there. Let them take it. Let them do what they want with that information. But I'm hoping that they'll join the fight in it.
Yeah, I just wish there was a solution for that, because when you looked up child, like, just trafficking period, you would think, because I don't know, for example, you lived in LA for 5 years, right? You would think, okay, I'm going to this store, I'm going to that store, nothing happens. You have the casual conversation with people that you know. But then when you really like Google these things and Google like your vicinity and what's going on, you will be surprised of how much stuff goes around when you're not physically around. And that's what I was learning too when I was in Connecticut, for example. Like, I was living in East Hartford, and I remember I went to Walmart one day, and there was somebody up saying like, "Oh, well, did you hear what happened in the news?" I'm like, "What happened?" They're like, "Oh, a guy in a white van snatched up somebody." And I'm like, I go to that Walmart all the time to shop groceries, you know what I mean? So then when you Google these things, you be like, oh snap, boom, boom, boom. Like first three things you see is incidents of child trafficking, but it doesn't plaster on the news. It doesn't get covered, and you kind of wonder like, okay, you have all these cameras and all this stuff like that. How can't we find these people? Why can't we have a solution to these things? Why is this happening in broad daylight with thousands of people, not thousands, but hundreds of people watching, no witnesses, nothing. And this is not this thing where it happens once in a while. This happens all the time. Nobody sees nothing. Nobody does nothing. And then we're going to a rant where we're like hoping that something doesn't happen to these people. And instead of we shouldn't have to have that as an option when we have a choice to save them or do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like with all these cops around, all the money that we putting in and all the stuff in time that we're doing for these fundings and all that stuff, there should be things, especially with district mayors stuff like that. There should be things in place where your community is more protected, more guided, more safe. And I feel like to touch on what you're saying, like it's not something that's being done around the states. If anything, we kind of brush it to the side when it shouldn't be the issue. You know what I mean? And I feel like
It's been going on for a while though. That's the thing. This is not like a new conversation. This is something that's been going on for a minute. But the fact is that we need to get more people involved in the conversation, right? Because the more and more it happens, the more it that conversation happens, the more people will unfortunately have to have those uncomfortable conversations with the kids in their own life to say, you know, be on alert. Let's have a what's it called, like a secret code or things like that, you know, just to keep our loved ones, you know, safe. And unfortunately, that's a problem.
so
It shouldn't be, but this goes to show, you know, these are people that are not going to be a part of the fight, and that's fine. Either they're complicit or they really don't see it as a problem.
but do you think, just to surely touch on that, don't you not do you think, but don't you think a lot of people in power they're passively aggressive when it comes to stances like that?
Really.
They're afraid to lose their money, their endorsements, their position. They're afraid
Yeah,
to go back to what they were.
$1 billion industry, of course.
Right. So I
You
feel
could say
like
the same thing with you could say the same thing with big pharma. You could say the same thing with Hollywood. You could say the same thing with the education system. I mean, all of it's a moneymaker, and especially big pharma. And I mean, I come from a family of doctors, so this is controversial for me. But I mean, but you know, despite my family may have good intentions to want to help people, the industry that they work for doesn't. Same thing with mine. You know, I have a good intention to want to go into this into this industry, but the industry that I work for is corrupt. We know this, and every single industry is corrupt. But they all make money off of it somehow, and they're willing to take anybody out.
you get it.
That's
Can you
it.
still be good if you still move corrupt?
Hmm?
Can you still be a good person if you move corruptly?
Me personally, I don't think so.
Right.
But but everybody loves a redemption. Everybody loves a person who's able to redeem themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it depends on where your heart lies, and I feel like if you're doing it, if you're moving corruptly, and then all of a sudden you want to change your ways, I'm sure people would be open to hearing how you want to redeem yourself. People love a villain, but they also love a comeback story. That I can't answer that. I don't know. Well, what do you think?
What do I think? I think it depends on what it is. I think it depends on what corruptness you're dealing with because there's levels to corruptness. You know what I mean? Like you can be corrupt for your own personal gain,
Okay.
or you could be corrupt to the point where you're using your personal gain to help others in the long run, but it doesn't look like that in the public eye and for that time period. You know what I mean? Because like for example, right, when presidents when they do the whole election thing, yada yada yada, they say what they want to say to get voted to be president, and then once they get to be a president, they switch. That's an example of using people for their own personal gain. But now, let's say the Black Panther, for example, right? We're not going to go too deep into that, but you know, um, for to the government and to the white people in a sense, what they were doing was corrupt because they were finding alternatives to help the people out. Like with the programs and free lunches and the breakfasts and offering mentorship and counseling like that. That they were using what they would find loopholes to help their people. So in a sense, they were using their corruptness to help others. And when that gets handled in a situation, you look at the villain, but there's always two sides to every coin. You know what I mean? So I feel like good people could do bad things for the right reasons. To answer that question.
Sometimes, yeah. I mean, when you put it that way, yeah. I guess like if for some reason you're like, for example, somebody who's like a billionaire, more than likely you got that money unethically. It's very difficult to make that much money in this lifetime. But if you end up giving it back to like your community or helping somebody out, I don't know. Like that's hard because technically somebody had to suffer in order for you to help somebody else. When you kind of think, you know what I mean? Like, is that morally right? I don't know. I'm not God. I can't answer that one. I would say in my eyes,
Mm-hmm.
I, I would say if you have the option to do better, do better. That's it. You know.
That's deep.
Yeah, if you have the option to do better, do better. Like, yeah, that's really what it is.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So we're gonna, let's dive in a little bit to some questions.
Okay.
I have some questions ready. You got any questions for me? Let me know. Let me know.
Okay.
Um,
I'll throw in some questions here and there.
okay, so what's a deal breaker for you?
In
Like
terms of like friendships, relationships.
relationships, just in general. Like what are deal breakers? Like you can name 3 deal breakers for you.
Um, Inconsistency. Um, I would say a lack of communication, but I wouldn't want to say necessarily yeah, I would say lack of communication, not comprehension, because I don't know how you're going to take something, but as long as you're able to communicate with me, that's great. I'll admit, I can sometimes be passive aggressive, but I don't like it and I'm working on it. And I recognize it at least, but I would say lack of communication is a deal breaker. And then I would also say, I don't know, like just trying to run a game or play a game on me, like deception, you
Mm,
know,
yeah.
of some sort. Like whether it's you oh, trying to make me feel stupid. That's a big one. I don't like that. I really don't. Like I'm a very intelligent person. Don't run games on me or mind games to try and make me feel like I'm stupid or less than. I'm not.
Right.
And that's yeah. I would say that both for platonic and romantic relationships. Yes.
That was
What about
3.
you?
That was 2.
Hmm?
That was 3 or that was 2?
That's three.
That was 3? Okay, okay.
Yeah.
What
More
makes you feel appreciated?
two of them kind of go hand in hand, but yeah, go ahead.
Um, what makes you feel appreciated?
What makes me feel appreciated?
That's a good one. See, the more acts on the right ones, the more acts on the right.
I know. I would say like spending time with me and acknowledgement that, and look, I know people go through life. I'm not expecting to be in like your top five, sometimes may not even be in your top 10, but I would like to be considered somewhat important in your life. You at least have me in your life.
Right.
Like, why am I here? Like I mean, of course, I'm gonna be a side character in your life. You're a side character in mine. Like
Right.
just making me feel like I'm important to you, and if that like our relationship or our friendship, whatever it is um important to you to fight for, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that I do struggle with a lot of my relationships, is that it seems as though I'm the person that it feels like people just easily discard.
Mm.
Um, so I'm learning to love me for the both of us so that it doesn't affect me as much.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That was a great answer. And the last question I got for you in that aspect is what kind of gestures make you feel loved?
What kind of gesture? So my love language.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah. Like that.
I would say for me, words of affirmation and quality time.
Got one
Those are
more.
my one. Oh, you said three. Okay. And then I would say
Like acts of service or is it gifts? What's the other one?
acts of service. Yeah, I like gifts. It's cool and all, but then I also feel like I owe you something.
Right,
Um,
right.
so I feel like acts of service, both of our part, because those are my love languages, to give to people. So that's what I'm hoping to get back. If I don't get it back, like that's okay. I'm also patient, love is patient, and
Mm.
I'm I'm willing to reason with you and be, with you as long as I can. But if it gets to a point where the relationship, whichever one it is, feels one-sided, I'm out.
That's the goal. Right. Okay. My three, I would
Yeah.
say, quality time for sure. But the thing is, I'm so busy these days. It's like, damn, I don't even have the time for quality time. But that's something that I crave. Ironically, right? We always chasing something that we want. Um, I would say active service, mainly because I'm always like the one giving, so it would feel nice. Like I like to have that done in return. Not that I'm looking for it in return, but it's something that I appreciate. You know what I mean? Like, and then I think the third one is word affirmations. I'm very big on like just having that as a manifestation. Like I have words plastered all over the wall. I got it written on my board, written in my book, on my phone. Like there's something that I like to eat, live, and breathe it. You know what I mean? So I feel like if someone, friend, or this relationship, like you have to have like that same like mentality in a sense where you're powered by a purpose. You know what I mean? Or something that's there to be written that resonates with you, that keeps you going, or motivates you, or makes you happy, where you could like dig deep and just relate to. You know what I'm saying? So that's just where I'm when it comes to that.
They definitely overlap. I love that.
Yeah. Hold on. I got
Actually, I have a question for you.
okay.
How do you feel about a lot of these men with the podcast?
Shoot.
Yep, I'm bringing it up.
Damn, okay. How do I feel about it?
Yep.
I feel like it needs to
Perspective.
stop.
Like I want to know.
I feel like it needs to stop.
No, and I mean, and I'm not talking about you as somebody who's trying to create your own. I'm talking about like these men who are like the ones that have already like been having like a whole bunch of honeys come on and like trying to trash talk them. Like I want to know what your perspective is.
Like them Hotep guys, like the hold on, not even Hotep, like the Andrew Tate fake alpha male guys. Okay.
Everyone,
I think
all of them.
I think they need to stop. Um I think it's redundant in a sense because we get the it's like they carry the Twitter discourse to the podcast and it's annoying because nobody wants to hear the same thing over and over. Like who should split the bill 50-50, or who should cover the bill on a date, or should you have sex with a girl on the first link, or should a woman cook for you and you're not there? No one wants to hear all that all the time. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives a fuck. Everybody has their own preferences. I think it's annoying. I think we have oversaturated the market with all that bullshit. And because you see, when you go on TikTok, you go on Twitter, you go on Instagram, if you see a black podcast, what gets viral the most? Someone having these damn discourses and it doesn't go nowhere. You get like 1,000 comments, 2,000 comments. You have people pit against each other, arguing about values that don't really mean nothing to them. It's something like, a lot of women like to take up for one another. Same thing with men. Like men take up for one another when it comes to these things because they don't want to. We have strong opinions on things that 9 times out of 10 you're not going to get involved in. So I just think it's a waste of time, to be honest. Like, and they need to get rid of it, abolish it, keep it on Twitter. Don't put it on the podcast world. Abolish it. Throw it in the garbage. Hold on, where my mic at? Hold on, I need to. You see this mic? Throw it in the trash. We don't need more of that. To be honest, yeah. I'm sick of those podcasts. To be honest, and
when they pop up on the FYP page way too often. They pop up on my FYP page way too often, and I get irritated, and then I'll start responding on TikTok. Why are y'all like? Please stop! Like, stop talking.
The more you see one, the more ignorant is gonna. You're gonna find a super ignorant one that you're gonna go off the rails. So I look at it for like 10 seconds and I scroll up. I say, no, that's
No, I just want to see what idiotic answer they're going to give this time. And to be honest, they always end up falling every damn time. Like, it's not like they never disappoint when it comes to giving a very ignorant ass question, like answer. Like, or asking it a stupid question. Like, there was one dude, but he was in his car. It wasn't a podcast. There was this one dude who literally sitting in his car. I think he's maybe like rolling a blunt or something. I don't know. And he's like, can somebody please tell me why Black women are so mad at the world? And I responded to that. Like, because you keep asking dumbass questions that you already know the answer to. And then I was like, have you ever asked yourself why women like men when they're asleep? Because they don't talk. Because it's peaceful.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, just be quiet, sweetie. It's a calmness, stillness, peace is also an answer. It's a choice. You can do that. It's an option, babe. Try it. So
I think when I not to sound like one of those old heads and stuff, but when I was starting this, right, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like that at all. It wasn't I tried a podcast back in 2010, way before this was a thing. But when I was podcasting in 2015, when they had Anchor and all that, it wasn't like a route where we was talking about stuff like this, you know what I mean? Like, it was like, okay, if you wanted to skip college and not do the journalist stuff and all that stuff, you get a mic and you practice what you want to do in college and you pod from there. Now it was like, and I would say, like, it just started, I don't know who kind of made it popular, but somebody made it popular in that 2019 pandemic period where everybody just wanted to pick up a mic and just do all this love discourse, all this sex discourse, all this relationship discourse. And it's like, I feel like it's just so redundant. Like, it's annoying. It's just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just annoying. We feed off the negativity, the drama, the back and forth. Like, we need that, you know what I mean? And it's like, it creates engagement, it creates controversy, it creates cash if you're looking at it from a business standpoint. So some people, they're like, oh, okay, this is what works. Let me keep doing it. For some people, they generally want to talk about these things and they have an audience to go and do a banter with. And it's like, for me, I do things with purpose. I don't see the purpose in that. Like, if I'm talking to you about these things, I'm just okay. She said she don't want to split the bill. Okay, that's great. You know what I'm saying? Like, where does that, like, how does that move you? How does that move me? Where do
And
we
how
go?
does this progress us forward? Because it seems as though one person just wants to have control over the conversation and set the precedent for everybody else. And it's
Right.
like, that's just not how this shit works. You are not the government. Honestly, even if you were to be the government, a lot of the things that we're talking about ends up affecting them too. And I'm just like, wait, hold on. Okay, no, that's not where we were trying to go with this at all. This is just a little bit of a conversation that we're trying to have. And it's like you said at the beginning, like it really should be just based off of everybody's individual preferences. Like I remember for a while, I would hear people saying like, no, don't hook up on the first date. It's not classy. And then there's some other people that are like, well, I hooked up on the first date and I've been with my man for like 5 years. I'm like, I don't know. Like, that's just what works for you. I
Right.
don't know. Okay, great. Like,
But that's the beauty of it, right? Because now, right, both parties put two different perspectives in the universe. So now you put that video out there might be 20 girls that might agree with the girl that said she had sex on the first link. Now you have a audience. Now you have a fan base, and it might be 30 girls agreeing with the other girls saying like, "Oh, no, that's not classy." Yada yada. That's the discourse, right? Now you're creating like a split in the middle instead of trying to bring people together. And that's just my opinion on it. Like, who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, a none,
well,
a none,
I mean, it should care to a certain extent because it can affect your way of life. So I will say that.
right?
I understand why people care about these conversations because it will actually affect us. However,
Mm-hmm.
if you have a solid argument as to why you're doing what you're doing, go nuts. But if you're trying to like utterly convince other people that like, I don't know, it's
Like Andrew Tate, right? He
I
would
don't know.
talk like this with his hands like this. And he'd be like, "You're not an alpha male. You're a beta. You do this. Women don't want you. Women don't love you because you're a simp. You're buying her clothes. You're buying her flowers. You're taking her to the movie. You're paying her bills. And she's not giving you no pussy. You're a simp." And he would talk like
That's
this.
considered a simp.
But then, right? Then the alphas were like, "Oh yeah, he's right. Why you doing all this? That's beta. Like blah blah blah."
And
But
now we're at a point where everybody's single.
right, because
Good
now
job, everybody. This is what we did. Good job. This is the byproduct of everybody talking.
you're listening to a nigga who had his hands like this, who's a millionaire from boxing, not from not from
Well,
the
despite
fighting.
only Kate, there's like so many other dudes, and I'm specifically talking about Black men
Right,
because
right,
the
right,
amount of podcasts they have started
right.
to trash women.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I kind of think I know which podcast you talk. Like, I don't want to get that them.
I can go through the list. There is a
List?
list.
Yeah, we got a list.
There is a list of like, there's some that I've even responded to. There's ones where like people, there's one called Daily Wrap Up Crew.
Oh,
They're from Brooklyn, New York, actually.
oh, damn, they make it Brooklyn look bad. Jeez.
Some of the things that they were saying, I'm like,
Damn.
what?
You
This is
ready
what
to
I was
jump through
talking
the
about. Go to
screen?
sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. Go to sleep.
You ready to jump through the screen?
Yeah, like please go to sleep. I don't know. There was just some things that people were saying. I have to find the other ones, but they got really irritated about what I was saying. I'm like, obviously you didn't watch my video, so that's fine.
Right.
I don't care. You can be all upset all you want. You can try and convince yourself that you're an alpha male. More than likely, I'm sorry to say it, you're probably not if you're whining on a mic. You're
So,
not.
do you think people who claim that they're alpha males are not alpha males?
No, because you shouldn't have to shout it. And I even said this in a video. I'm like, it's kind of like when people try to say, I'm the realest, I'm 100, I'm this, I'm that. Like, I'm just like, you are the fakest person here. You're the fakest person here. Please, your actions will tell me everything. The way you move tells me everything. Everything I need to know.
That's how we judge you.
Yeah. And it's like, you can say what you want, babe. That's fine. but words are are deceiving. Y'all have weaponized it in a very good way where you ask stupid questions like, what do you bring to the table? Sweetie, we are sitting crisscross applesauce on the ground. There is no table. There's no table at all. Okay?
None.
And I think what we need to realize is that asking stupid questions like that tells me everything I need to know about you. The way that you have an engaging conversation about somebody with someone is like asking them like, what do they do on their spare time? What are things that they're interested in? How does their family and friends receive them? How do they make you laugh? Is there do they have a sense of humor? Are they combative? Like those are, and you can see that based on the way that you go on dates with them, where you guys go like, I don't know, to the park. You can go to the beach. You can go to an event. You see these things and the way that they interact. That is how you do it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we have so many people going like effing each other is because we're just like, we like what we hear. He's good looking. Let me F him. And then I end up pregnant like a couple months later. And I'm just like, this is why we need to start really being diligent and very like careful on who, yeah, like how we move, who we're selecting to be in our life. We have to be a lot more intentional in the way that we make decisions, who we interact with. We just have to, because the reason why all these problems are happening is because we're allowing and just passively allowing everything to happen the way that it is. It's not working out very well, guys.
And to add on to your point, I feel like all of these things are happening as well because a lot of people who are taking in all of these type, like, you know, for example, like for me, like I like to listen to motivational podcasts, things like that. Not because of any insecurities or self-esteem issues, nothing like that, but because like I'm a person who likes to self-start myself and be motivated constantly because I have goals, I have a purpose, I have, you know, things. So I like to listen to things and watch things that keep me focused, keep me driven, keep me ambitious. With that being said, to add on to your point, I feel like a lot of people that listen to these type of discourses and podcasts, they don't have the direction to take their own advice, to follow their own lead. So they listen to these things and they get themselves caught up into it. That's how, like, for example, rest in peace to, you know, Kevin Samuels, for example, right? Girls should call in on his show and ask him questions of what they should do. Are they a high value woman? Yada, 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 right?
Why are you seeking validation?
But that's what I'm saying, though. We listen to these type of podcasts, we listen to his advice, and then they be like, you know what, Kevin, I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to go try it on my husband or my man or whoever, right? Instead of just being like, yo, I'm 30 years old, 40 years old. Why the fuck do I need to come on internet to go figure out what the fuck I need to do in my life? But there's so many people who are like that don't have direction. They're like, oh, you know what? He's successful. He's a millionaire. He has money. He knows what he's talking about. He gets girls. But for the guy perspective, and then the woman's like, oh, she's sexy. She's hot. Guys like her for who she is. Yada yada. I'm gonna be like that. I feel like that's the way I want to move. I like her. I like her ambition. She inspires me. You know what I mean? We're taking in the influence of what people are saying behind this mic, and for better or for worse, we throw them motherfuckers in the trash because they're not talking about it. And that's
honestly, you're right, and you're totally right. And I have 3 points I'm gonna make. One, we have realized even recently that even though you have a lot of money, you're not intelligent. You're not intelligent. We saw that with what happened with the submarine.
I mean, you know,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So there's that.
It was wading in the water for sure. You know, it was wading in the water.
Number two. Number two. Just because you're good looking doesn't mean you're a good person. Just because you're good looking doesn't mean you're the best choice. Just saying.
About that talk.
Yeah, because
a lot of succubus.
You can be beautiful on the outside, but you ugly as hell on the inside. And I have met countless people like that. Countless. Like, yeah. And it's crazy. It's crazy that we go based off of external characteristics to determine, oh yeah, that person's successful in life. You determine your own success, babe.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is the Western world has determined what success is to you. And that's that. I lost my third point, so we can but I really wanted to make those 2 points because
Wait out that question. Let's wait out that question. Let's go back to the top of the surface with that. You know, get it.
Is that a pun?
That was a pun to the got to bring the tank back up. Dear Lord, forgive me.
No, listen, I will always say that I have empathy for that child that was in the.
Oh yes.
But everybody else,
they disregarded the whole, you know, people. Why would they think having a PlayStation controller? I don't know.
I would have taken one good look at it and I would have said, since I prepaid, use my money and upgrade the submersible, you call me in a year, we'll talk. Let me see the upgrades you made.
It's like
I would have taken one good look at that, and it's like a soda can.
Like, it doesn't make sense. First of all, we don't even know what's down there. First of all, so why would you even play with the ocean like that? Don't they know the ocean is like, it's technically space? The deeper you go, the more caught up. We don't know what's down there. So why would you think a submarine, that submarine of all submarines, would be? And then you don't even like have no type of equipment or nothing like that. You're just going to see the Titanic and going back up. So what makes you think that little ass soda can, like you said, is gonna? I don't know. I just don't know what goes on in people's minds sometimes. Like, why they do the things they do? You know. I have a question, right? And I thought about it before we go. I was high. Don't judge me. I was really high. I was smoking one day, and I said, "Yo, you know," I had looked at the globe, right?
The what?
Physical globe. I looked at it, and I said, "You know, it might sound stupid. It might sound stupid, but hold on. If you know how like there's water, right? Like look from the outside of the globe, there's grass and there's water, right? And we have like the outer core and inner core, all that good stuff. Like how you leave on a rocket ship and you go past the stratosphere into space, right?
Yep.
What if, like, where does the water go? Like, why does it stay in that circle? Why does it not go into space? Why does what I'm saying? Like, why does the water just disperse? Like,
I'm gonna tell you that will have to be a conversation for another day because I've already had those conversations with myself, even when I was high school. And
where does it stop at? I want to know.
It's not what we think it is. I'm gonna tell you right now. It's not what we think it is, and it's not what we've been taught. That's all I will say. And people need to do their own research to really kind of like put 2 and 2 together and be like, how really is this possible?
Right. Like, it stops somewhere, and I want to know where it stops. And I was high as fuck. I'm like, yo, like, the Sims music playing in the background in my head. I'm like, this is something that I really got to think about.
The best person to ask a question like that? A pilot.
Pilot? You think they've been there before?
Been where?
So like where it stops at?
No, but they will give you an understanding of the format of our world. I'll say that. Which will then answer your question.
Could I talk to a stewardess about that? Do she know?
A pilot, I feel like, would know because they fly all the time. They would know.
We're gonna figure that out. In the next pod, we're gonna have the answer to that question. But to wrap it up, I do want to say it was a pleasure having you today. We definitely need you on board for more podcast episodes when you're free because you're a busy woman.
So are you, because let me tell you, it took us almost like 3-4 weeks to try
I'm like, I'm free. You're like, oh no, you got this, and then when you're free, I'm like, oh, I got this.
The time difference is something you struggled with, and I'm telling you, 3 hours behind. I am 3 hours behind you. So if it's what if it's 2:15 right now? That means it is 11:15 in the morning here. You tried to have me start this at like 7 in the morning. I said, sir, you are out.
I'm like, yo, I'm ready to go. What's up? And then I'm like, it's 10 o'clock.
I'm asleep.
Yeah, I'm like, it's 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. So then when it's 10 o'clock your time, you said you're ready. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go take a nap. I'm about to go to work. So I'm like, damn. And so it's
No, but the thing is, I confirmed and I put both of the times, both PST and EST. So you know.
You did. And I fucked up by thinking, I'm like, you know what? Okay, we good. Yeah. But I'm like, you know what? It's 7 o'clock. She's not getting 7 o'clock. I'm like, let's be honest. Because you know what I mean? So I was like, okay, never mind. But we finally did it. And you coming to New York, right? Are you or what else?
I am. I just really still need to figure out where I'm staying. I found a couple hotels. Do you know of any like kind of like decently cheaper hotels? Because I'll be there for like.
Oh yeah, I told you to hit me up about that. I got you.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah.
Because like the hotel, like I have
Cash.
a Hilton pass, like a Hilton membership thing through my mom, and it doesn't really shave off as much money as you think. Like it doesn't really help.
Yeah.
So I'm like hoping to find something that's at least like 150 a night, or if it's cheaper, great, as long as it's like good. But yeah, because I am huh?
I can usually get that for you. A 4 star, a nice 4 star. I got you. I got you. I got you.
Yeah, just like because I didn't realize, like, I know it's New York, I get it.
Yeah.
I would prefer to technically stay in Manhattan so that I don't have to spend too much of my time traveling since I'm there for such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Um,
I got
but
you.
yeah, let's talk. We'll text. We'll talk about it more.
When we come down, we're gonna do an in-person pod. I'm gonna take you to the studio, not this studio, but like take you to the actual studio. We're gonna
Okay.
do it the right way. Um, I'm gonna have a shirt saying "No more podcasts" for these people. We're gonna throw the mics in the
No
trash.
more mics. No more mics. No more mics.
No more mics.
No more
That should be our podcast one day. Me and you. No more.
Hashtag no more mics.
No more mics. Throw that shit in the garbage. Save the trees. But
Um,
it was fun.
you want to do a photo shoot?
Yes.
Let's do a photo shoot.
Listen. I don't like how I'm jealous. I don't like how you work with all the photographers in LA. Yeah, out here. None of that.
Listen. I am trying to build myself up here. Okay, I'm doing my best.
No. I'm just joking with you. We love the progression. Shout outs to you. Congrats, by the way. You made the campaign. You made 2 campaigns recently, right? Yeah, 2 campaigns. She was on Insecure, everybody. She's acting. She put in the work.
Yeah.
You work hard. I would say like a lot of people that travel to different states, especially California, they kind of lose their way a little bit. But one thing with you, you always stay the course, and you always are ready to defend yourself and stand up for yourself whenever some bullshit is happening. So I respect you a lot for that. You don't shy away from big corporations, small corporations. It don't fucking matter. You're gonna stick up and stand up for what you believe in, and not a lot of people are willing to do stuff like that. And for me, I salute you. And there's a lot of great things on the horizon. There's 150 days left of the year, so there's a lot of time to still have a great time to enjoy the year and have a great year. So I feel like you're on the right track. We both on the right track, and we're gonna make it happen.
Thank you. That's great. No, that was really nice. Yes, thank you. We're definitely gonna be doing some great things. I mean, we've always had like a lot that we want to accomplish, and I think even though time is moving fast, we'll still get it done. So
stay ready. See, my camera's right here. Stay ready.
All right. Well,
stay ready.
Love that. Love that. All righty, sir. Great podcast. This was a good conversation. We will definitely do another one soon.
Yes.
Remember the time difference.
Time difference. One of those grades.
Behind.
Fine. No, we only go behind.
No, it's okay. My mom still doesn't even get it. Like, I've been living here for 5 years and we talk pretty much almost every day. And she's like, what time is it there? I'm like, you must be out of your mind. Why is it so difficult? But I do have to get going. But
Peace out,
so good to talk to you.
Peace out for the gram. Okay, okay. All right. Later.
I'll see you. All right, bye.
Everybody can't come up here. Brooklyn.